Hello, everyone. Welcome, all of you, for making it here today. My name is Darlene, and I'm one of the Beach Balance assistants. And today we will be doing our guided art therapy. Um, Megan, our Beach Balance graduate assistant, want to wave, Megan,
Hi.
is going to be kind of going over everything that our Beach Balance lead, Madison, who's the image there with the canvas, if you can see Maddie, we'll be going over. So you can go ahead and pin Maddie's screen. But we're just so happy for all of you guys to be here and excited to show you the canvas that we're going to be doing.
So for today's materials, we are going to be needing green, white, pink, black, and red paint colors. And this is the painting that we're going to be doing today. We're going to be doing a watermelon.
Okay, hi guys. I just wanted to jump in and also add, kind of give you some information on what I'll be using today. Let's see. So I'm going to be using this canvas right here. It is more of a rectangle. It's not exactly like a perfect square. And then I have my colors here. So I actually have a few more colors. I have a red, pink, a blue, and a white, and then green and black. And I have a couple paintbrushes here, a couple wide ones because we're going to be painting the entire canvas. And you want just a thicker brush since you want the watermelon to have like a thick core. And then I have a pencil because we're going to be tracing where we want our watermelon to be. And then a cup of water and some napkins as well, just for dabbing. If I want to like clean any of my brushes off with the water, I could just do that and then dry them off right here. So yeah, let's begin.
Okay, so this is going to be step number 1. I'm just going to go over this step, and then if you want to take a picture of the first step before I have to stop sharing the screen, go ahead and do so right now. So the first step of the painting, we're going to start with a white background, or you can paint it any color that you would like. For this image that we're using more specifically, it's using a blue background, and you're going to make one rounded line with white paint from one corner to the opposite corner once you've painted your entire canvas. So go ahead and take a picture if you haven't already. I'm gonna give you guys a few moments for that, and then once I stop sharing my screen, Maddie can go ahead and begin painting, and then I'll be describing what she's doing.
Okay, so we're actually going to start with doing a pencil line to begin. Just to let you know, since we are switching it up, instead of painting the whole thing blue, we're going to keep the blue on the left-hand side and then make our line for or circle, half circle for the watermelon, just like this, to hit the corner. Just because there's no really point in painting this side blue if this is going to be our watermelon. This is more of the background, so you guys can go ahead and trace right now with your pencil where you want your watermelon to be, maybe how big you want it to be. I'm not sure if you could see my pencil line, but I'll make it a little darker, and then you'll want to paint on the left-hand side where the watermelon's not going to be.
Perfect. So now Maddie's going to be dipping her paintbrush in the blue color that she's going to be using for the background. And like as she said before, she's only going to be painting the left-hand side where she did not draw the half circle where the watermelon's going to be. So now she is painting the blue on the left side, and she's making sure to be super careful where she drew her line for the watermelon. And then if also like you need to do a couple coats for the background so it's not as transparent, just wait for it to dry a little bit before putting your next coat on. Also, if you guys are doing this painting with us today and you want to share your screen of what your paintings looking like throughout the process, feel free to do so. You don't have to, but if you'd like to, it'd be so nice to see where you guys are at and how you guys are doing with today's painting. And now Maddie is just trying to make some precise lines around where the watermelon's going to be, just making sure that she is putting the blue right on the left hand, exactly on the left hand side of where she drew that line. And the square brush is a good brush to use for that, just because it like gives you more of a precise line. As you can see, Maddie's also trying to get the paint to dry a little bit more by waving her hand over it. So that can be used if you're trying to speed up your drawing process. So now Maddie's adding some white onto her bag that she's using to put her paints on. And she's taking another square brush. She's dipped it in the white, and now she is doing a white line along the line where she had done her pencil drawing for the watermelon. It looks like Maddie is trying to touch up the line just to make it even more precise if she got any blue where she didn't want to get any blue.
All right, so how's everyone doing? I just want to make sure everyone's, somewhere around this step before I move on. If you guys want to share your screen, maybe, if you guys want to show us. So instead of painting this whole thing white, I'm just going to do about an inch or two of white paint. So when we put the green paint for the watermelon, we could kind of fade it into this white, so it's not as dark of a green, so it'll kind of fade from a dark green to a light green. In case you guys don't have like multiple shades of green paint, this is what this is for. And then Megan, you can go ahead and share the next step.
Okay, perfect. I'm gonna share. So now we're gonna go to step number 2, which is actually what Maddie didn't do because she didn't paint the whole thing. So I'm going to move on to step number 3 instead. So step number 3 is just creating more of a white base. If you did end up painting your entire canvas, but Maddie didn't. So I'm actually going to move on to step number 4 now, which is where we're going to be adding the green. So go ahead and take a picture of step number 4 if you haven't already. And we're going to go ahead and get started in step number 4. So it looks like Maddie just added her dark green onto her bag, and she is now going to be dipping her square brush into that color. And she's just waiting for the white paint that she had placed on there to dry a little bit more before adding the green on there. And now Maddie's adding another shade of green onto the paper bag, like she had said before. If you don't have different shades of green, you can dip your paintbrush in water and then use the white and make a gradient that way. And that will help fade the color from a darker green to a lighter green. So now Maddie is adding her dark colored green along the line where she had painted the blue background. And then you definitely want this color to be your darkest color of green because like a watermelon, it's going to be fading from a darker green to a lighter green.
So as Maddie's finishing up there, adding the green, we just wanted to ask a quick little question for you all here. We wanted to see if you could, using the reactions bar below, do a clap if you've participated in one of our past art therapy.
Now it looks like Maddie has dipped her paintbrush in the next shade of green, which is lighter than the green color she had used before. And now she is blending the darker green and the lighter green to create more of a gradient so that you can see the texture, especially like in a watermelon, the textural color of the greens. And like I said before, if you don't have different shades of green, you can always add a little bit of white to your green, and then, or you could dip your paintbrush in water and then dip it in white, and that way it will make it easier to blend the two colors together.
Also, I'm gonna be letting this dark green dry a little bit because I wanted a little darker, so I'm gonna let it dry a little bit and then put another coat on top of this dark green just so it's a little bit more of a rich green.
Now she's taking the lightest shade of green and she's adding that to the middle shade of green that she had added just to create this really cool ombre effect for the watermelon. It also adds like great texture and makes it look more realistic as well. I just want to ask and see how everyone's doing right now. We are on step number 4. I know we did skip a couple steps, but if you do want to share where you're at right now with us, or if you want to show us your paintings, that'd be super cool. Okay, Jordan, that looks super cool. I really like your gradient that you did already with your greens. Awesome. Lindsay, yours is looking really awesome as well. I love how you're adding a little bit more texture to yours. Awesome. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and reshare the presentation as Maddie's getting her paint ready for the next step. Now we're gonna move on to step number 5, or we've already gone kind of over step number 5. Now we're gonna go on step number 6, which is adding the red and pink colors of the watermelon. So if you'd like, go ahead and take a picture of this step right here so you can see where we're at. Okay, I'm gonna stop sharing my screen now if Maddie wants to go ahead and start using, she mixed her red and pink both together to make it more of a watermelon color, which it does look like a really pretty pink for a watermelon. Now Maddie is using a square brush again, and she's going to be doing a line right against the lightest color shade of green. Okay.
So I'm going to be going back and putting some white over this green, the green and the red a little bit, just so there's more of that rind of the watermelon, the white portion of it, just to add a little bit more of a light green since it's so dark and then light and then it goes straight to pink. I'm going to put a little bit of white right here once everything dries, just to see how much of a contrast that you want. So if you guys want more of a lighter green, then you guys can go back in, and add more of a white, a lighter green, and then once the top part of the watermelon is done. So we can go ahead now and go on to the next step, which is just painting the rest of it.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen again. So this is going to be step number 7, which is where there's going to be painting the rest of the watermelon. It looks like there's also some lighter pinks mixed in with darker reds and pinks. So if you want to take a picture of this step, go ahead and do so before I stop sharing my screen again, and we'll watch Maddie do this portion of the painting. Okay, now Maddie is using the same pink color that she had used before, and she's now painting the rest of the watermelon. And now she's dipping her paintbrush in a little bit of white and mixing some of that pink and white on the side so that it's not completely just the white colored paint placed onto the pink paint. That way it has a little bit of contrast when she's mixing the two colors together for the rest of the watermelon. And as you can see, Maddie is adding the lighter pink to the darker pink color while it's still wet, so it's easier to blend. If your pink color has already started to dry a bit, you can dip your paintbrush in water to make it easier to blend the two colors together.
All right, guys. So as she finishes that up, we did just want to ask another little reactions question and just see if you guys are wanting some more art therapy workshops for the fall to go ahead and just do the little clap reaction. Great. Glad to see that so many of you are looking forward to this.
And as you can see, Maddie's adding a little bit more texture to her pink watermelon by mixing together the darker pink with the lighter pink. And I also noticed earlier she dipped her paintbrush in both the pink and white to create more of a middle color so that those blend a little bit more between the lighter and darker pinks. And Maddie just added a little bit more white to her dark pink color and is now painting the rest of the watermelon, giving it a bit more texture.
All right, before I move on, I want to make sure everybody is almost done with painting the rest of their watermelon. If you guys want to share your painting, or let me know if you guys want me to slow down before I begin. Go ahead and comment in the comments, or, oh, that was good, Jordan. Awesome. So you painted all of it, okay. Sweet. So the next step is going to be the seed. So Megan, you can go ahead and demonstrate or share the screen.
Okay, let me go ahead and do that. Okay, so the ninth step, I'm going to show the ninth step and the 10th step. The ninth step is painting the seeds. So when you're painting the seeds, you can either form them in more of a diamond shape, or you can form them in more of a teardrop shape as demonstrated here in this picture. So I'm actually going to go ahead and click onto the next slide, which is slide number 10, which shows a little bit more like the final product, but we just wanted you to see like what the seeds are going to look like. So if you want to take a picture of step number 9, go ahead and do so at the moment right now. And then I'll also give you a moment to take a picture of the final product so that you can see if you want to do your seed placements the same way as the painting had done it, but you can really put the seeds wherever you would like to put them. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the next slide, which is going to be our final product. And you can go ahead and take a picture of this as well so that you have a better reference picture. So Maddie just poured out some black paint, it looks like, and she dipped a smaller brush into the black paint so that it's easier to paint the seeds. So it looks like Maddie is going more for the diamond mixed with a teardrop shape.
You guys also want to make sure that your watermelon, the pink portion, is pretty much dry when you're doing this, or else you're going to get some pink in those seeds.
And if, let's say, the pink is too wet, like as you're painting the seeds, you can always go back and do the changes that you wanted to make, like Maddie was saying how she wanted to add the white to the green portion so that it blends a little bit better. You can go ahead and do that while you're waiting for your pink paint to dry if it's a little too wet. And you can go back and adjust anything if you don't like how it looks right now. you can always change it, and or if you don't like how the green blended earlier and if it's a little bit more dry, then you can add more dark green. It's totally up to you. This is your painting, and it doesn't have to look exactly like the final product that we have for you guys. If you didn't even have the colors today, you could have made like a blue watermelon if you wanted to, or an orange watermelon. It's totally up to you guys how you wanted to do this painting today.
Okay, so I did a pretty large amount of seeds. There's usually not this many seeds, I believe, in a watermelon. But you can do as many as you want. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the white paint on the green border, like I said, just to make more of that rind.
And if any of you guys want to share your screen right now, or if you're close to getting finished with your painting and you want to show us, we would love to see where you guys are at right now. Jordan, that looks great. Oh, Lindsay, that looks really pretty as well. So now Maddie has dipped one of her square brushes in the white paint so that she can create more of that rind of the watermelon. Now Maddie is dipping her paintbrush in the water. And she's just adding that water to the paint so she can blend it out a little bit more so it doesn't look like such a harsh white line for the rind compared to the green on the watermelon. Now Maddie's dipping her paintbrush in the darker green color, and she is now adding that to the top of the watermelon just to define the darker green color that was there before. Now Maddie's dipping her paintbrush in the water, and I believe she's going to probably blend that darker green with the medium shade green that she had used in the middle. As you can see, Maddie dipping her paintbrush in the water, it's creating a nice gradient effect between the darkest green, the middle shade green, and the white, and it blends so much more smoothly. As you can see, the darker green to the white shade of the rind for the watermelon piece that she has painted for us today. And this is going to be the final product.
So I may go ahead and probably add maybe a few more seeds. I don't know why, but I want my watermelons to be full of seeds. So you guys can go ahead and add as many as you want, or maybe you don't want any. You want to see this watermelon. You could do that too, or even like white seeds. I don't know. That might look cool too. Whatever you guys are feeling. You guys could even paint something over here in this blue side on the left. You could do maybe like a sun in the corner, or whatever you guys are feeling. If you guys want to keep painting or adding to your painting, depending on how big your canvas is, you may want to spice it up depending on what you want. And you know what always you should do after you have painted something and the painting is dry, you should sign it.
Okay, perfect. We just wanted to thank you guys for joining us today, and I hope you guys enjoyed today's painting. I know that Maddie is still adding more seeds to her painting right now, but I do want to say thank you for joining us today with our guided meditation for our last summer Zoom event that we have here at Beach Balance.